Is Gen Z really more conservative than some of the other generations? Hello, this is Chart GPT today. There's been a lot of talk about how, well, Gen Z is more conservative. There's a change and there's a shift. Here's a couple of headlines here from Forbes, Business Insider, The Hill. And, you get these kind of anecdotal headlines, and there's a few bits and pieces. And I got to wondering, is this really true? Is Gen Z really more conservative than previous generations? Well, there was a poll out here, and kind of looking at this from the Daily Mail here. It was from people, in the youth. It's kind of a mix of Zers and millennials. And I thought it was kind of interesting. Now, this is like red flags in a partner. It kind of indicates the mindset. It's not necessarily a political poll, but it indicates the mindset. So here we are. So what would be a flag? And these are kind of listed by, the big flags and little flags, both men and women. And basically and of course this is the youth from 18 to 34. And they said if you're a MAGA Republican, 76% of the women said that's a red flag, 59% for men. So that doesn't strike me as very conservative. And they say when you say all life matters, and that's, I guess in some circles that's considered racist. 60% of women think that that's not good. It's a red flag in terms of who they would want to hook up with. On the men, though, because it's white male, a lot of times they kind of get picked on a little bit here. So it's a bit less there, but that's an interesting thing that women, so maybe it's a little bit of a gender difference there. Now, that being said, that they say, well, do you identify as a nobody wants to be identified as a communist. So I think, here's another thing, listen to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is not really conservative, but, some people think that he's a little bit too male, misogynist, a little bit too to the right. So women don't like that. Conservatives, in the kind of the same Barbie movies. So anyway, so the point I'm getting at is you look at the red flags, that doesn't look very conservative to me, or to the right leaning political. It looks pretty leftist here. Kind of an interesting here is kind of a side note here. They're into astrology. Well, men don't like that. Men don't like women that are into astrology. I don't know. Maybe they think they're airheads or something. I don't know. But take a look at that chart. It is kind of interesting. The point of that chart is they don't look all that conservative to me when I look at that chart. Now here's the population, and what the point of this chart is, it's really going to be this 2024 election coming up here is really going to be about millennials and Gen Zs. You can see the population is going to be the two generations. It's going to be really the bullhorn workers of who's going to be voting, because here's the party identification. Again, this is in 2022. And you can see that the younger you are, the more you're likely to be a Democrat. Though that being said, a lot of them are identifying as independent, so that's an interesting point there. Getting to specific here, you can see millennials. This doesn't have necessarily the Gen Zers, but you can definitely see millennials have definitely been trending to the Democratic side, so there's no change there. A couple of others to kind of exemplify that. Here's one from NBC News. And you can see 2012 versus 2022, the youth has definitely switched in the last 10 years since 2022. That is to the left. Here's another pretty good chart. It's probably the best chart of the bunch, and you can see that there really hasn't been a huge change to 2022. You can take a look at these bumps back and forth, but for the most part, this would say that there's been very little change. So we asked the AI what could cause people to make changes in their politics. What's the issues that when going from young to old, what causes people to want to go from more liberal to more conservative thinking? So that's an interesting thing. And give us your take. Do you think Gen Z is more conservative than the millennials, or leaning more conservative? Check out the post links in the description box, and don't forget to subscribe.